Hey guys, welcome back to another video with Travis Dodge here. I was asked by a friend, this video is going to be about kombucha, and let me tell you why. I was asked by a friend the other day when I posted about my kombucha brewing process, and they were really excited and they wanted to know how do I do that. And there's lots of videos online, but there's lots of information in those videos that I would like to get across that is missing or was picked apart in literally several videos that I watched, as well as lots of reading, lots of understanding what kombucha is, how to make it, and really the process that I went through in failing many times over the last 4 years in making kombucha. So I'd like to help you eliminate a lot of those failures or things that didn't work over that process at the time of learning over the last 4 years. So number one, typically if you're watching this video, you know, you've seen it in the stores. Here's one particular brand, GT's. It's one of the most common brands out there. That's actually the original one that I had seen. Now there's a plethora in the store of different brands, and some of these are actually made from a couple different brands here, and I'll explain how to do that, which I had no idea how to do that before either. So now, and you may have seen this, you may not have seen this at all, and some of my friends were like, what in the world is kombucha, and is it alcoholic? I don't drink alcohol. Well, it does have a small amount of alcohol in it, content in it, because it's fermented, all right? And so, however, if you are an alcoholic or anything like that, or past alcoholic where you used to depend on alcohol, this is not going to affect you. I would ask a doctor, ask, you know, your Al-Anon, but this definitely should not affect that at all. And so what this is actually, most of you know, and that's why you're watching this, is because it's a healing agent. It's literally, for me, it took me away from beer, right? So I knew the way to find my way out of something was not to get rid of it or to say, I'm done with you, or to say, you know, I can't have you anymore. I can't have alcohol anymore. Well, no, it's more like finding something you can add. So I looked into what I can add. Instead of drinking beer, I was like, okay, I know I can drink it, but what can I have instead? And so this was actually the first option, and I didn't like it at first. The second try, second bottle, I actually started to like it. And now look at me go, have this all across the board. And here's the reason. So I didn't know it was healthy for me at the time. Now, after going through, you know, being a holistic nutritionist, and also along with those lines, being certified in metabolic testing people for hormone imbalances, you know, stress, which is a part of hormone imbalance, as well as nutritional deficiencies, toxicity, and many other concerns. But then we would give them holistic protocols based on the findings. Well, this is one of them. This is because, as many of you may know, the probiotics that is in kombucha. Well, probiotics is for life. And so that is one of the most amazing things about kombucha, and that's actually the reason why I kept drinking it so regularly. And little did I know that there was more. Thanks to healingthebody.com, as well as many others, enzymes. There's the enzymes, the antioxidants, the polyphenols, the probiotics, the glucuronic acid, the glucosamine, and as well as the awesome B vitamins that is essential that most of us are lacking because we just don't get enough of. Well, let me tell you, when you're drinking kombucha every day, starting off slow, of course, if you've never drank it before, maybe a quarter, you know, like a small glass of it every day, and then building up to maybe a 16-ounce bottle, which I do twice a day typically. And especially since I make so much of it, I can drink two glasses of it a day, or two 16-ounce bottles of it a day, one in the morning, one in the evening. And right before I go to bed, then my stomach acids are building up, you know, building the healthy enzymes and gut flora, which is where 70% of our health comes from, 70% of the immune system. So if your digestive health is on track, then your health is definitely on track. And so you really want to take care of the gut, and that's what we're going to do today. So starting off, as we get going here, I want to, number one, address how we get going. How do we do this? What do you do to get going with kombucha at home? Well, I had no idea where I was going to find a Scobie. They call it a symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast, SCOBY, and that is the acronym, I guess, for the Scobie, which you'll find in here in all of these, as you see, like the white thing floating on top. It's basically a mushroom, and it's a symbiotic culture of yeast and bacteria that eat the sugars that we're going to give it to feed it, basically, and then it builds all the awesome stuff that I just talked about. And I'll put a link to healingthebody.com so you can actually check out that and read more about those things. Now, getting a Scobie, there's many different ways to get a Scobie. Number one is from a friend. Let me show you here. So this is kind of cool. This is a Scobie, actually multiple Scobies, as you can see in there, from my mother. Now, I gave her one probably about a year ago, and she actually gave me one probably about 6 months ago back because I had lost, mine had died. I didn't take care of them. I just let them go and let them sit. They dried up, and then they were gone because I stopped making it during that period of my life. I was busy and just didn't think about kombucha kombucha making at the time. So you can get one from a friend. Every time kombucha you make a batch, you get two. So you can actually peel them apart and you get another one. So as you'll see in here, let me go ahead and peel one out of here. So as you see, all right, so there they are. And as you can see, there's many of them. There's actually some falling off there. And then you can actually peel them off of the bottom here. So as you see, there's two of them now. So you can peel that off and you can start as many batches as you have Scobies, right? All right, now my hands are all wet. But that is a cool thing. So now we can give them out to our friends. We can do whatever we want with them. We can make multiple batches, as you see here. And I keep extras on hand just so I can give them out to friends and family. Now, as we go here, this is one of the ways that you can create a kombucha as well. So you can start your own Scobie. And now there's also a more specific way that you can actually culture your own Scobie. I haven't got into that yet, so I'm not going to even go there. But what I do is you can grab one from a friend, or you can grab one of these bottles from a store. I'm going to come closer to the camera here. And so this one is the original brand. Now, original is what you want. You don't want to start off any kombucha with any flavorings or anything like that, or any flavored teas. Let's get rid of any flavored teas. That's going to affect the entire process of the Scobie and the cultures that you're building. So do not put any flavors in with the first brew. We'll get into the second brew later. Now, here is the original. So now what you do with this original, and I'm going to go ahead and do that right now as we're talking here, if I can find the open. There we go. So what you do is you take this and you pour this into another bottle. What I like to do here is in a bottle that is about this size here. And now, as you can see, it's fizzing up, very fizzy. And that is what I, as a kombucha brewer, really look forward to, is the fizz. And quite honestly, one of my first couple brews, I didn't have any fizz. I was very disappointed because that's what I really enjoy. And just because it's not fizzy doesn't mean it's actually ruined or it's not working. That's actually part of the second brew process that I've found, is getting the fizz down. Now, once I have it in this container here, now I can let this sit for 30 days, which is what I do with every type of original kombucha that I can find from another brand. I usually like to go local, but GTs will work. If you have a local brewery and they sell them at a local health food store or anything like that, grab the original one and it will work. It will work. So as long as there's no other additives, just kombucha. So then you pour it in here, let it sit for a month, you will have yourself a Scobie. Then you'll start, and you have your starter liquid, which we'll get into as well. You'll need the starter liquid. So now the process of doing this, making the Scobie and the kombucha, is you do not want to use any metal utensils. So here I have my wooden spoon. You want to make sure your hands are washed, not with soap though. You don't want any nasty soap on your hands, so use holistic natural stuff, trying to get at least just water on your hands so your hands are very clean and no garbage in there, no chemicals from soap or anything like that. Also, if you're going to be using a bowl, you're going to take a Scobie out and putting it into a bowl. You're going to be putting it into a glass type of bowl. You do not want the metal bowls. You do not want the plastic bowls. Any of those, or spoons or anything. You don't want anything plastic or metal touching the kombucha. It's going to eat it and you're going to be drinking plastic or metal. That is not healthy, so we don't want that. It's not smart. So now what we're going to do here is, you have your Scobie, you have your glass bowl and you have your spoon here ready to go, then we brew up some tea, right? So here's the tea that I use. And okay, so let me start here. There's many different types of teas that you can use. You can use black teas, green teas. Those are probably the best two options. Yerba mate is what I found, number one, to be the best tasting that I believe anyways with the mixture that I use. Also, yerba mate is one of the most healing teas, and that's why I use the yerba mate. Not only that, but also on greenmedinfo.com, you can actually find all of the research and articles that actually show yerba mate caffeine. For the caffeine from this actually eliminates cancer cells of the colon, and so that's really cool. So this is the specific brand that I use. I mean, I'm pretty specific with my stuff. So this one, the yerba mate Eco Teas. And this one I just like because it's fair trade. You know, no kids are cutting it down or making it. And this one specifically is the whole plant. And it's, of course, organic and natural, 100%. There's nothing added to it, but it's the yerba mate tea there. Now, what I do then is I take my tea and I make it concentrated. So you can just brew it right into one of these jugs if you'd like and make up as much tea as the container and put the tea right in there and then sift out the tea with a sifter. Well, I like to use this little handy, I don't even know what they're called, tea infuser. That's what I'm going to call it. And you can use it right in this jar here. And what I do is then I use, it's about 2 tablespoons for a gallon of, so if I use this, it's 4 tablespoons per 2-gallon jug. And so that's where we're going to start. And I have right now, actually I have 2 tablespoons of tea brewing right here. Then I'm going to go ahead and start my own batch here today with one of these Scobies. As you can see, I already have tons of it. But now what we got going on here is the other one. So now we have the tea made. Then we're going to go with the sugar, right? So the next step is to add your sugar, which is going to be a cup of sugar if we're going to be doing a gallon, which is what I'm going to be doing today, and that's a gallon. So we're going to be doing a cup of this sugar. I'm very picky on the sugar. Number one, because of the flavor. Not number one, actually that's number 2. Number 1, because of the ingredients, right? We don't want anything refined. We don't want any crap. We don't want any junk. At least I don't want any junk in my food. And so that's why I'm so thankful I get to make my own food, because right here you have the organic whole cane sugar, and it's unrefined and unbleached. This is, I wish, let's see if you can see that. It literally looks like something you probably have never seen before. At least I had not prior to researching and getting in depth with real sugar. So this is actually, you know, USDA organic. It's also the certified with being, what do you call it now? I'm losing my mind. Fair trade. So it's also fair trade. It's organic and fresh. This stuff, oh my gosh, you smell it so good. Here's the thing with kombucha is it's actually low in sugar content, so you're actually going to get the Scobie is going to eat the sugar, and then it's going to create all that awesome stuff for your digestive system and life for your body. So you don't have to really worry about the sugar content. However, that's part of the brewing process, and I'll get into that in a short minute here, about making sure that your brew is where you want it to be. Now, there is test ways to do that. I don't use the testing, I use my taste tester. So here's the other thing. So as you see here, I have many different brews. This one is a Scobie from my mom. I labeled them all. This one is actually Ammunition from To Put Brewery here in Wisconsin. So I actually got a local one, and I started it just as I started this one here. And now, as you see, I have that one. This one is from To Put as well, the same bottle. It eventually morphed into 2 batches. And then I have more batches here, as you see. Well, let's see here. I like to show off the duck here. She wants to join us, or Goose. She's going to join us here. All right, so that's another brew here. And I have the dates on all of them, of course, too, so I can really keep track of all my brews. And that my goal is to actually cycle them. So I have one coming out every month, and it's just cycling through. Then I can bottle them up. And that would be the next step once we get into it, would be the bottling portion. Once you get past the actual brewing point. So that's these. I have some down here, about 30 of them down there. Now, before we get to the even individually bottling them, you actually want to make sure that this is brewed 100% to where you want it to be, because it's actually, you know, based on your taste and what you want it. So that's what's cool about brewing your own, is you can make your own and how you want it to be. I like mine, typically, it depends on the time of the year because of how warm it gets. So you really have to pay attention to your brew as it's brewing, and taste it, you know, every week or so. And that's what I do. I go into my brews and I taste it, see how it's doing, about 3 weeks to a month in. I always let it go for at least a month. I know some people let theirs go less, but I like mine a little bit more vinegary and more like the store-bought stuff. So I really try to get mine as close to the store-bought, if not better, than theirs. And I've been able to do that. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to take the spoon, of course a clean spoon, you just dip it in there, and then you taste it, you know. Well, that's very good, actually. That one's probably ready to brew. So what happens here, second brew rather, so what happens is the sugar, you'll taste the sweetness. Like if you taste it right away, as you can see, this one is pretty brown. That one you can still tell that it has the sugar floating around in it. So it still hasn't ate it up yet. It's not starting to get that more clear amber color. Once it's the more clear amber color with this specific type of sugar and tea, then you're going to start to see that it's getting ready. So that's a visual thing too. You'll be able to see it's ready, taste it's ready. If it's too sweet, let it go longer, because the sweeter it is, obviously, the more sugar content you're having. I like it, like I said, more vinegary. Then I know that it's getting rid of more of the sugars, and there's really not much sugar left. The goal is to have very minimal sugars in there. So once we're done with that brew, now what do? We have to bottle it, right? Well, I use a glass, actually, to take it out of here. All I use is a glass measuring cup, and I dip it in there, and then I pour it into my bottles. However, for me, I have the strawberry chunks right in here, and I'll see if I can see that on the video here. You can see the strawberry chunks floating right in the top there. And you notice I used an old bottle that was purchased from the store. So these bottles are great. They are perfect for use. And so quite honestly, if you drink these a lot, or if you have in the past, save them, or ask your friends on Facebook, say, hey, I'm going to be making some kombucha. Could you please save the GT bottles or any other kombucha bottles or any glass bottles with the plastic top that have that specific lining on them? It's really, really good. So now these are great. Like I said, I have the fruit. So what I do now is you can do, it's about 10% if you're going to do juice. Do about 10% juice. So if you're doing a lemon one, I do about 10% juice, but I also do lemon ginger. So then I do fresh slices of organic ginger. Don't do the crappy ginger that's just not organic, because that's just gross. It's seriously, I bought it one time because they didn't have organic, and I threw it away. It was nasty. It's not even close to the organic ginger. So make sure you're getting organic ginger if you're going to make any type of ginger. I make blueberry ginger. That baby's awesome. If you're going to do whole fruit, you actually want to do about 1/3 of the bottle. So you're going to fill it up 1/3 of the bottle with fruit. If you're doing the juice, it's about 10%. So that's all. I mean, you can play with that, of course, too. But I wouldn't recommend store-bought juice. That stuff is nasty. Just juicing the fresh fruit. So if you have any fresh fruit, fresh strawberries, fresh blueberries, juice that stuff, and then put it in there. Like I only do lemons that are juiced. I juice my lemons and then I put it in the lemon ones. But the strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, any type of berries, I'm actually loading it in here. Or ginger, lemon ginger. Like I do the fresh stuff. I don't do just juice stuff. So you can do however you want. I like those chunks. Or you can actually sift out the chunks once you're done with the second brew. So here's the tip for the second brew. Real quick here, we'll close it out. You're going to actually leave a little bit of air at the top there. Not too much. You want to actually close it up pretty tightly, so that way it doesn't have much place to build a lot of pressure. And so the more air is actually worse for it, that I've found anyways. And you can test me on that or do whatever you wish. But for me, I like less air. Not all the way no air, but it needs some air. So little bit of air, and then you're going to have a good brew. I usually let my second brew, so this is the second brew, this is bottled, go for about 2 to 5 days. Sometimes it takes a little longer. Now what you want to do though is these ones I haven't breathed or you know, opened up yet. You can actually open them up along the process and just burp them a little bit, and get. Oh, see there, it's already getting some fizz, which is really good. And these are 2 days in. Now, as you heard that pop there, hopefully I did. But that's where you're going to get your fizz from, is the second brew. Now, and if you don't burp them, you're actually going to get it to the point where you're having a rough time. I remember when I was first starting out doing kombucha that I would actually have to like get a wrench and wrench off the tops. So every time I would go to drink kombucha, I'd wrench off the top. Well, that was because I was just letting it go. And now I actually burp them all, and they get an opportunity to breathe, but they also still have that vibrance of the bubbliness that I love and the effervescence. So I hope I didn't leave anything out. I probably did. There's so much more that I could do, that I could teach. The basics are all in this video. Rewatch it again if you haven't gotten everything, soaked everything in, taken notes, or message me. You know, I love to talk. Let's set up, even if you're in the local area, let's set up a time to brew. I'd love to do that with you. So thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for the opportunity to give you a video. Please send me a message if you want any other videos like that are fun, things to do. I would love to post something. This is honestly just a hobby for me. I love making food. I love, you know, dabbling into the health foods. So thanks again. Have a wonderful, blessed day, and make it purposeful. Love you guys. Take care.